I don't have a PowerPoint, so just want to talk about what we do in the Paul Robeson Cultural Center. As Julia said, my name is Carlos Wiley. I'm the director of the Paul Robeson Cultural Center, or most commonly referred to on campus as the PRCC. I have been the director since 2010. I came from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, where I was the director of the Multicultural Educational Resource Center, as well as the University Diversity Director of University Diversity Initiatives for 8 years. So the PRCC has been part of Penn State University Park's campus officially since 1972. Between 1967 and 1972, unofficially, it was called the Black Cultural Center. It was housed in the Walnut Building. It was student run, and there was no director from 67 to 72. And in 1972, the university officially recognized the need for a cultural center at that time for Black students. Obviously, between those years, 67 and 72, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, assassinations, and other things had occurred that, as well as uprisings on other campuses around the creation of African American studies programs. And the same being said was true here at University Park. So the university recognized the need for the space for those students at the time. In 2000, we moved from the old Walnut Building, which was on Shortledge, just up the road on Shortledge Road from the Hub. We moved to our new location, which is now makes it the Hub Robeson Center in 2000. The purpose of the PRCC is we seek to help the institution fulfill its mission related to diversity and inclusion. We do that through programming, trying to help students develop character, conscience, and social responsibility. We do that through programming related to racial identity development, social justice, and inclusion. We host a number of programs from keynote speakers to workshops to open forums and conversations that we host for students, either that myself or my staff leads, and then the keynote speakers that we bring to campus. And in this virtual world, we've done a couple of them virtually in the fall as well. Our program funding dollars come from the Student Fee Board. And we go there every year and present a proposal for funding for the programs that we would like to do each year. I would say that, we don't necessarily have a focus for graduate students, but all of our programs are geared towards just making all students better individuals, understanding their racial identity, understanding their social justice cause and issue, and helping to develop skills that can allow them to be productive and helpful citizens in the world once they leave Penn State, whether that be as an undergrad, graduate student, or professional student. What else do we do? Oh, we do host we have one of 72 certified peer mentoring programs that we run out of the PRCC called Blueprint. The program is certified by the College Learning, Reading, and Assessment. And with the certification, we have to train our mentors. They have to get 16 hours of very specific training that is given to us from College Learning, Reading, and Assessment. And then they have to do one-on-one mentoring for 25 hours throughout the academic year. At level 1, they do 16 hours of training and 50 hours of one-on-one mentoring to be certified at level 2. The program hosts about 120 students, mostly all of them are undergraduates. It's designed for mentoring first year and change of campus students. We have a strong social media presence through our Instagram. If you'd like to follow us, it's PSU PRCC. We've just created we're marketing our YouTube channel, which hosts all of the programs that we have done from this fall and a few, and last year, last academic year. All of those programs are now on our YouTube channel, and you can watch those speakers or programs. We also host a number of retreats. So this semester we'll be hosting the social justice retreat at the end of February, at the end of this month, the 26th, 27th, and 28th. This will be the first year that it will be held on campus because we can't travel. So we'll be opening up to more students because we can host more students on campus. That's open to all students. Graduate professional students are welcome to attend. There is an application. That application is now open and closes on the 17th. So if you go to our social media, you'll be able to click on the link to get to that if you would like to come to the social justice retreat. The theme for this year is community and common purpose. We'll be hosting a leadership summit, women empowerment symposium, are a couple of the events that we'll be hosting this semester, as well as our first event will be in-person event will be February 16th, which will be called Securing the Bag, which is geared around working through and budgeting. A friend of mine who is a personal financier, I guess would be the correct word, does the workshop. And then if students would like to sit down and meet with him, he can help you come up with a budget, whether that be currently as you're in school, or if you're looking or anticipating that first job down the road and what that might look like if you have offers to deal with. So that's open to all students as well, February 16th, and that will be in Freeman Auditorium at 6 p.m. That's all I have, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Carlos? I think I saw Naladri first.
Hi, thanks a lot for the presentation. I have a question regarding the mentorship program that you run. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, yeah. So, hi, Carlos. So the mentorship program that you run, so I was wondering how does the certification process works? Because we at the GPSA were trying to conceive a mentorship program for graduate students, so which can actually help, which can be extended across college. So where graduate students can interact with somebody who is not from their just direct department. And I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit about the certification process of your mentorship program. If somebody trains the mentors, who certifies them and their credentials? Thank you.
So the staff in the PRCC, I have a the assistant director of the Paul Robeson Cultural Center. We have a program coordinator that works with Blueprints, and we have 2 graduate assistants who work with the program. We are certified through the college learning, reading, and assessment. There's an application process that we have to fill out an application. We have to assess all of the programs and training that we do for the students, and they send us the criteria around. So part of the criteria is cultural enrichment. So cultural enrichment may be that we have to give them 4 out of the 16 hours of cultural enrichment is part of their training. So morals and ethics is part of their training. So we have to build the curriculum based on that as a staff. So the 4 dedicated staff will We take them on a retreat at the beginning of the year, which we give them 8 hours of the training through different activities that we do as the staff. Then we assess it, then we write it up, we send it to College Learning, Reading, and Assessment. Then they come back to us with which students can be certified. For the mentor, to make sure that they're getting their hours, they turn in logs. Then the mentor and the mentee turn in a weekly log that tells us what they have done with their mentor, mentee, so that we can ensure that both line up. And then we submit that as well to College Learning, Reading, and Assessment. And then they send us back who we can certify at what level. So it's quite a lengthy process, and we have to assess everything, and we have to ensure that the students are learning everything that we say they are in order to be certified.
I have a follow-up question. Julia, can I ask? Okay, so thanks for that information. So I was wondering if you ever tried this with graduate students and professionals.
We have not tried it with graduate students, just because, you know, we have it's a daunting project with 120 students. That's a lot of work. I'm sure that there are bits and pieces. If there was some way, or so, if you had a subcommittee that wanted to look at things you could do to create a mentorship program for graduate students, there are probably things that we could offer from the program without you going through the certification process.
Right. So I think we are trying to do something on this regard, and I will try to be in touch with you to work on that further, probably.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Carlos.
You're welcome.
Diego?
Hi, Carlos. Thank you for your presentation today. I was curious if you could speak to what your center is doing to pressure the administration to actively respond to what happened with Black Student Caucus this past week.
Well, I guess it depends. The president did write a letter in support of the Black Caucus after they wrote their letter. As an advocacy unit, we're always advocating for students of color with the administration in one way, shape, or another. So I reached out to and spoke with Damon Sims and Marcus Whitehurst. I think it was an unfortunate situation that occurred for Black Caucus, and as the Paul Robeson Cultural Center is there to support them. So I think they're having a meeting tonight at 7. So I reached out to the students that were on the Zoom call. I met with them and talked to them about things that they wanted to see the PRCC do to support them. And I think we have a couple things that we'll work on after they meet tonight. They're having an open meeting, I should say, tonight, and see if any of the things that we talked about will come out of that meeting, that we can begin to build some programs to better support students. I think the administration right now there's a lot of things going on related to diversity at Penn State. You have the special commission. We just completed a community survey that people need to start to dig into the results of that, and build diversity action plans in different departments and units across the campus. I think it's going to take some time before we actually begin to see the results that we want to see, that actually create systemic change versus things that are patching up or being responsive to something that occurs. Systemic change is going to take a little bit of while before we begin to see the actual effects of what that looks like. But as the PRCC, we always advocate. I'm advocating every day. I'm sending an email to someone every day about the experiences of students of color at Penn State to help them try to see what they can do to become a better ally and advocate for students of color.
Thank you, Carlos.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions for Carlos? Nico?
I remember at some point learning about Paul Robeson. I had since forgotten that he had a Penn State connection. Is there something on the website about his life?
No, he actually does not have a connection to Penn State.
Oh.
He just spoke here. The reason the center is named after him because it was the students had a vote between the Harriet Tubman Cultural Center or the Paul Robeson Cultural Center, and they chose Paul Robeson. So he really does not have a connection to Penn State. It was just Harriet. Excuse me, Harriet Tubman and Paul Robeson were just the names of, in the 60s and 70s, they were studying Paul Robeson and they were living with Martin Luther King and others that we've heard cultural centers named after today.
Well, I would encourage everyone to look into him. He lived a remarkable life.
Yes, he did. But that's a good point, and we probably should add some stuff about him because we are named after him onto our website. So we'll get on that. We'll have that done by the end of the month. Thank you.
Any other questions for Carlos? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to join us and speak with us. And we look forward to working with you in the future.
Me too. Thank you very much for having me, Julia.
Take care.